Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Today's card is an inside surprise window card. For this card I'm going to use the Beach Life 12 by 12 paper pack. This is illustrated by Helz Cuppleditch and I'm going to use the white paper with the little bubbles and the paper that has the ice creams or lollipops on it. So I have everything we need here on my scoreboard, and the die that I'm using is an oval die, and this die measures 4 by 4 3/4, but you can use any die that you have in your stash. This is a card blank that I'm using and it measures 10 by 7 and it's scored at 5. You can make one yourself, but I happen to have this ready-made one that has a matching envelope. I'm going to layer that with this piece of card, and it measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and that'll go on the front of the card like this. I'm also going to put some of the patterned paper on top of it, and that measures 4.5 by 6.5. And I'll stick that down either using my liquid glue, tape runner or double-sided tape. On the front of that I want to put this happy birthday. It's a die that I got in AliExpress and I'm going to cut that out. I have it cut out already in white and I'm going to cut it out 3 times so I'll have a layered die on there. So I'll have it die cut out twice in white and once in the blue. This piece is the inside piece and this measures 9 3/4 by 6 3/4. And I'm going to score this piece at 2 3/8, 4 3/8, and 7 3/8. And then we're going to fold this in half and then fold back on itself. So we'll have a mountain, a valley, and a mountain fold. This piece of paper here is a piece that measures 4 3/4 by 6.5, and I'm going to score it at 2 3/8. And this is going to fit on the card base here like this. So when we die cut out the blue card with our oval, we're going to be able to see through to those little bubbles at the back. Now these pieces here are going to go either side on the inside of the blue card. These pieces measure 2 1/4 by 6.5 and you're going to need 2 of these. And those panels will sit there like that. I'm also going to take this piece of paper here, and this measures 6 by 1 3/4, and that's going to go on the right side here. I want to put a sentiment there, and I want a place to be able to write my little note to whoever this is going to. Next I have this piece, and this is going to sit inside behind where the oval opening is. This is 5.5 by 2 1/4, and I'm going to score this at 1/4. It wasn't sitting in right. At 1/4, at 2 3/4, and 5 1/4. And those little quarter pieces at each end are going to be the tabs that will secure it. So as you can see from my little prototype, it'll be the piece in there behind the window. That's where this is going to fit. Now I'm going to cut this down later on because I felt it was too big, but I'll get to that when we get to that. Next I'm going to use this stamp set that I have in my stash, and I'm going to take one of them for the sentiment on the little panel. This birthday boy stamp, I'm going to stamp this up and then I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut out the birthday as one piece, a banner piece, and then the boy I'm going to cut out each letters and they'll go inside, you'll see behind the oval opening. So that's everything, that's all our bits and pieces ready. All we need to do is get putting it together. So I'm going to put you on fast forward for this part. I'm going to speed it up 8 times. I don't want you sitting here for too long, so that way I can speed through it all and explain what we're doing. And the first thing we're going to do is start off by die cutting out our oval window. And we're going to die cut that about 1 inch from the top, just making sure that it's even on each side. And I'm going to use some purple tape that's going to make sure that the die doesn't move on this panel before it goes into my Gemini machine. I'm going to take my happy birthday die and I'm going to die cut that out on in my Gemini Go machine. I'm going to take a piece of greaseproof paper or non-stick paper or parchment paper, whatever you'd like to call it, where you're from. I'm going to put each of my die cuts down on this and use my glue and stick each of them together. So I'm going to have a white die cut on a white die cut, and then they will be on the blue die cut. And I want the blue at the bottom, because I think the white happy birthday will be better on top of that patterned paper. So this piece is going to go inside behind the oval, but I felt that it was a little too big, so I'm going to cut it down, and it's going to actually be 2.5 inches long by 2.25 wide, and I'm going to put 1/4 inch tabs on each side by scoring that end piece, and then put my red tape on. I'm going to line up the score lines and tape that down. So I'm happy with the placement of that. I'm happy with how my panel on the inside is going to be. I'm going to stick that down as well. So let's get the rest of our panel pieces on. On this white strip, I'm going to stamp birthday wishes. And I'm using my stamp positioner for that. And I'm also going to stamp down the birthday boy. And I'm using the VersaFine ink, and this is Majestic Blue that I'm using. My front sentiment die cut is now nicely stuck together, so I'm just going to stick that down on the front of the card. And I'm going to use my Nuvo glue to adhere that down. So now I've decided I want to put some embellishments inside around the oval die cut. So what I've done is I've taken some scrap pieces of the lollipop or ice pop paper, and I'm die cutting out a, what is it? It's like a cornetto and an ice cream cone with chocolate pieces and an ice pop and a bowl of ice creams. So I'm going to cut them all out, and I'm sticking them down onto 300 GSM white card, and then when they're dry I'm going to fussy cut them out. Now I do have a scan and cut, and it's not something that I think to use. I will fussy cut, but I find I'm struggling a little bit to get an even cut around it, so it's something I'm going to have to work on using. So I've cut out also the birthday and the boy, and the birthday, what I've done is I've scored it down the middle, and then I've also put little score lines 1/4 inch from each end, and that way I'll have little tabs and that can sit inside my card. The BOY for our boy, I'm taking some strong acetate and I'm going to stick some of that behind each letter. So our birthday panel is going to go inside here, and the fold on the birthday sentiment is a mountain fold, that way it'll come out when the card is opened. And I'm going to stick my O for my boy in first, and that'll be on the blue panel at the back, and then the B and the Y, they will be stuck on to the oval part of the die cut at the front. I hope that's explaining it to you guys. I think you can see what I'm doing, so that should be able to help. Now the bowl of ice creams and the ice cream cone, I'm going to put some 3M foam tape behind those, and I'm going to stick them onto the front of the oval die cut blue piece, and then I'm going to put the cornetto and the little ice cream itself, I'm going to stick them onto the blue panel that the O is attached to. I've cut out 2 little strawberries as well, and I've put them at the bottom of my birthday wishes panel. Now I'm going to take some of the Ranger glossy accents, and I'm going to go over the happy birthday sentiment here, and that way it'll give it a little bit of, gives it, you know, a bit of depth. It looks like a chipboard sticker. So that's it, that's our card done, how it looks on the inside when you open it up. I really love this idea. I think it's, you know, the front looks plain with just the happy birthday on it, but I think when you open it, it's a lovely surprise. So here's some pictures of the card that we made today. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.